Well, hello there. What's up, Wing Chun? How are you doing? Hey, Losh. Glad you could join. What's up, Benjamin? I'm glad you're here. Hey, Sal. You ready? I'm ready. What's up, Casey? How you doing? How's everyone doing on the eve of World War III? Glad you guys could join me. What's up, Nikki? How you doing? All right. I have a good feeling about today's Wordle. It's going to take me like 30 seconds. All right. Oh, can I get it on the third try? I think it's slime. Slime. Slime? Slime. Oh! All right, not bad, not bad. You're being smooshed by corgis? What? That's what I want. Why? Why are you so lucky? All right, spring, rank, rubber ball, vault, safe, funky, foul, station strike, popcorn beam, horse standing, rings, position, popcorn, horse, spring, vault, beam, rank, safe, station, strike. Oh, horse, rings. Foul, safe, ball, strike. Yeah, I'm very American. I know my American sports. Vault, spring, rubber, rank, beam. What does popcorn have to do with anything? Rubber, standing, position, station, rank. Okay. Rubber, spring, vault, beam. Beam, vault, rings. Huh. This is gymnastics, right? Is rubber a thing? I have a feeling rubber is a thing. No! Spring? Oh, horse. I think horse, right? Yes. I think it's called a horse. Funky. Would have never gotten this. Funky chicken, popcorn chicken, rubber chicken. Spring chicken. What's a funky chicken? Horse beam rings vaw. You knew right away. Funky chicken is a dance. Oh yeah? Should we look it up? Funky chicken dance. Oh, this is the... I know this. Yeah! Yeah! Oh my god. I love him. I'm not sure he's doing it right though. Yeah. Yeah. Who's that guy in the front?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Shall we? Funky. Chicken. Silly. Dance. Wacky. Confusing. Jump. Yeah. Oh, jump. Break. Smash. Hop. Skip. Jump. Vault. Run. Just. Pass. Wait, corgi names? Joseph Joestar. Two Gun Maverick. Those are absolutely cool names. Travel. Spring. Jump. Run. Hop. Skip. What else? Roll. Wrestle. Fly. Flying. Grab. Conclude. I'll like jump to conclusions. Wait, check the Discord. Okay, I'll check. Do. We got pictures of corgis. Hmm. Oh my god. It's so cute. Hold on. I gotta download and then. Alright, hold on. What is this ad? Jesus. No. Wait, so the top one is Joseph Joestar. This one is Two Gun Maverick. What? Those are awesome names. Their other corgi was named Thorin Oakenshield. Okay. So these are not yours? These are your friends or something? Jojo is 9 and Maverick is 9 months. Your friends, you're pet sitting for 2 weeks. How lucky. They're so cute. Okay. What, are we playing this game? No, we're not, right? I'm not gonna fall for you, ad. What's up? Rude noise. How's it going? Sit. Fur. Stuff. Cover. Oh, he stopped the timer? Oh, he's such a good time taker, tracker person. Bounce. Jump. Bounce. Grab. Pull. Push. Flip. Trip. Kick. Huh. Jump. Assume. Jumpy. Jumpinator. Hide. Flick. Punch. Think. Thought. Leap. Quantum. Light. Huh. Jump, fly, float. Drift. Infer. Back. Forward. Front. Maybe not something physical. Stand. Hand. Near. Aha! Far. Wherever you are. Bunny. Bunny hop. Bunny hop. That is not a word. Hopscotch. Why is it called hopscotch? I get the hop. Where's the scotch? Away. Location. Jump. Fly. Travel. Because it's Irish. In your hand. Is that how you play hopscotch? Not. I don't remember playing that when I was young. Itinerary. Jump. What about dive? Drive. Drive? Leaf. The loser has to eat haggis. I heard haggis is pretty good. Is that true? Has anyone had it? It sounds disgusting, but I heard it's not bad. Loser. Okay, jump, near. Near, jump. Hide. It's like sausage? No, it's not. It's haggis. Nerd. Haggis. Food. Bound. Wait, let's look up haggis. Yeah, it's this. That is yum. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I guess you can call it a sausage. It's like a fat one. Oh yeah. UK food. Delicious. Sheep. Sheep's stomach. Stuffed with meat and barley. Scotsage. Egg. Spider egg vibes. Oh god. True. Or like alien eggs. Oh no. Now I can't get that out of my head. Bored. Spring. Stargazing pie. Stargazer pie. That also looks... No, not stargazer. Pie. Stargazy pie. You know? Some of it looks good. Like this one looks fine. I don't know about this. This looks nasty. How about this? Ugh. I just don't want to see the fish heads. What is this? Ah! What is that? It's like leeches. Are those fish? Yeah? You guys like stargazy pie? What's in the rest of the pie? I don't know. The rest of the pie looks delightful. These are sardines baked with their heads poking through the pastry crust, giving the appearance of gazing at the stars. Aha. They're gazing at the stars. They're gazing at my mouth. What is in the rest of it? Eggs, potatoes. That's it. Wait, there's a freaking poem about it. Excuse me? What? I don't know what language that is. They ruined the good pie with fish. Yeah, I like stargazy pie. It looks fine if you just take out the fish. Why would they want to do that? I don't understand. Pie. Okay. Jump. Potatoes. Dive, we tried. Dive, dove. Bacon. No. Near. Next. Attached. Diver. Sailor. Direction. North. South. East. West. Left. Right. Up. Down. Up. Casey, you're so good. Up. Down. Around. Oh, left. Right. Australia. Fall. Nearby. It's around here. It's around there. Here. Somewhere. Top. Bottom. Top. Neighbor. Down. Top. On. Off. Ring. Over. There. Where? Here. What? How? Down. Top. Hat. Wait. Hat. Top hat. Above. Oh, so good. Below. High. Ah! Yeah! Alright, not bad. That would have taken faster. We didn't do the Stargazy Pie detour there. Good job. Your little cousin was singing Ring Around the Rosie? Yeah. Low, higher, highest, lower. Okay, not bad. Not bad. All right. Whew. Okay. Thank God we stopped looking at the ads. I think they took away that ad that goes in front of the text box. You can't even see the text box. I think they took that away. Yeah. That was a good change. That was the most annoying one. Fish head pie for a snack. All right. Got Stargazy pie for you. They added play though? What do you mean? They added play? Like ads that play? The spider ad? Oh yeah, true. Oh, true. That wasn't there before, right? What is this? Let's say Moriringo. Moringo. Moriringo. What is that? Oh, it has a romaji at the bottom. Looks like a thin Twinkie, no? A Stargazy pie mukbang. Alright, that's my next snack there. I'll do a mukbang. With all the British food. Oh, we should look up like amazing British food. Oh no, I can't open. Okay, never mind. Okay. Not a thin Twinkie. What does that look like? A hot dog bun. It's sweet. Like a sweet flour cake thing. Very generic, unfortunately. I don't get it. It looks like it has something inside, but it's not. It's the same. It's the same ingredient. It's the same stuff. Why is there like a whole thing? Hmm. It's all right. 6.5. You don't think no one has? You think no one has ever really eaten the Stargazy pies? What is that one food that sounds very dirty? It's like dick or cock or something. Dirty sounding British food? Rude sounding British food? Oh, spotted dick. I'm not kidding. Why is it called a spotted dick? What? The dick part comes from an old term for pudding. Oh, is that right? I mean, it's like raisins and stuff. I like raisins. I like raisins. What is this? All right, this is a sweet, right? This looks delightful. That's pretty good. Has a little stuff coming out of the spotted dick. Okay, okay. Black Plague vibes. No, it's raisins. Oh my goodness. Why? The flavor is not sweet nor savory. It is simply brown. Steamed pudding. Wait, so it's not sweet? It has to be, right? Why would you eat it if it's not sweet? Well, I guess the raisins would be sweet. Oh, that's pretty good. Are we going to look up British food now? All right. Okay. Fucking beans on toast. Why? 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 That's the thing I would like to eat the least in the mornings. Okay, this is not bad. Some cheese on top, I guess. But you can lose the toast. Cheesy kimchi beans on toast. Okay. That's a lot of beans. It's quite a bit of beans. Um okay. See. This is more like it. Traditional British food you need to try. Okay, let's do it. Let's go through this 20 Scotch egg. Let's rate them. Scotch egg. That looks pretty good. Rate them just by looks alone, okay? That looks pretty good, actually. I think that's like a 7.5. Toad in the hole. Ah! Why? I think this might not be real. This is like a 3. This is a 3 out of 10. Why? No insights in my inbox. Fish and chips. 10 out of 10. You know what? I have a sweet spot for chips, for fish and chips. Yorkshire pudding. Oh, what? Spotted dick. Oh, what are the pictures? Okay. Scones. Scones are nice. 7. 7 out of 10. Roast dinner. Why do they make it look so bad? What is this? This is a 5 out of 10. Ooh, Victoria sponge cake. 7 out of 10. Full English breakfast. That's a 10 out of 10, right? I think everything is good here. Fried eggs, bacon, sausage, baked beans. Never mind. We can lose that one. 9 out of 10. Fried tomatoes, mushrooms, black pudding, and toast on the side. Pie and mash. This is a 6 out of 10. Jellied eels? True. Chip buddy. Huh. I'm gonna say 7 out of 10. Just on the name buddy alone. Eton mess. Okay. Not bad. It's an 8 out of 10. What is the white stuff? It was first discovered. Strawberry meringue and cream pudding. Right? Not bad, not bad. Crumpets. Crumpets? Would you like some crumpets? Shepherd's pie. The top looks good. The bottom. Not bad. 6.8. How about that? 6.7. Crumble. 7 out of 10. Sticky toffee pudding. Ooh. Wait, stop. Ooh. It's an 8 out of 10, baby. Yum, 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 yum. Maybe even 8.3. Shepherd's pie can be good. Okay. I mean, it's not bad. It doesn't look bad. Yeah. I don't know why. How do they make steak look so bad? Well, not a steak, but it's meat. What is this? Roast beef, vegetables, lots of gravy. I don't even know what this is. What is this? Guys. Which part of it? Which part of the... They haven't discovered fire yet? Alright. Were we good? Were we good shitting on British food? That entire plate looks concerning. Maybe that's the strategy to avoid too many tourists. I say, yeah. See, the Japanese have got to get on that trend. If they want less tourists, they can't make their food look so good. Okay. How do they poop eating so much red meat? I don't know what you mean. I poops just fine. Have you ever seen a British restaurant in any other country? What about a fish and chips place, huh? Is that considered British? There's a fish and chips place near where I live. That's pretty good. It's actually really good. The only thing. Long John Silver's. Oh, that's also good. Hey, I'm kind of hungry. All right, you ready? All right, what happened last week? So last week, after Li Mo Cho like tortures some bigger clan members, Yang Guo and Yuluchi, that's the Mongol dude, they fight her. Okay, and the battle uh, in the middle is interrupted by the arrival of some people. Okay, and it's none other than Guo Fu, where she's a daughter of Guo Jing and Hong Rong, and along with her, all as always, they're stuck together by the hip, are the Wu brothers. Okay, and you see the two giant eagles too. Now Li Mo Cho, she recognizes the eagles, and she's super afraid because she thinks Guo Jing and Hong Rong might be nearby. So she runs away with her disciple. Now Yang Guo sees her running away, and he thinks that the Wu brothers' martial arts are pretty good. He thinks that they're really good because they're chasing her away. Um, and he also looks at Guofu, and Guofu looks at him, and she has this like disdainful look, this disdainful stare at him. And he's offended. He runs away. Okay. All of these memories come back from when he was a child and he was bullied by these people. So he runs away. He doesn't realize that he still had his ugly disguise on. So that was why she looked at him in a weird way. He runs away. He gets all depressed and he wanders the wilderness and he climbs the snowy cliffs of Huashan. And there he runs into the nine-fingered beggar, Hong Chi Gong. And the two actually get along. They kind of bond, okay? Hong Chi Gong teaches him to make fried centipedes. Huh? If you thought British food was bad, what do you think about fried centipedes? He thinks it's pretty good. At first, Yang Guo is like disgusted, but then he tries it and oh, you know what? It's pretty good. They eat it like shrimp, so I guess they just take the shell out and they slurp it up. He thinks it's pretty good. Hong Chi Gong says that he has been chasing the 5 freaks of Tibet, and he's tired now, so he's going to sleep for 3 days. And he makes Yang Guo promise to look over him, okay, to protect him as he sleeps for 3 days. So Yang Guo promises to do so, and then Hong Chi Gong, he falls asleep. But that was when the 5 freaks arrive. And they discover what they believe to be the dead body of Hong Chi Gong. And they want to cut it up into little pieces, okay? Now, Yang Guo doesn't want to break his promise, so he decides to protect the body. He takes it and he runs across this narrow mountain path so that he can hold off the 5 freaks. Now, the freaks decide to stay on the other side and they want to wait him out. Okay, he'll starve sooner or later. Yang Guo is over there. He's tired, but he'd rather die than break his promise. So he stays there for 3 days. On the 4th day, Hong Chi Gong still hasn't woken up. So he believes that Hong Chi Gong has actually already died. So Yang Guo prepares to throw his body into the abyss to save the body from the villains, like disrespecting it, desecrating it. And that's where we left off. How's that? Fancy some baked beans? No, thank you. Thousand Lake. What do you make stargazy pie with centipedes? What about that? Did he already throw it? No. He was preparing to throw the body into the abyss. I don't think he threw it down. Fortunately. Did you know the jelly in jellied eels is literally just the slime they release after being boiled? Okay. You think he threw it? He did throw it? Oh. Oh, he did throw it? Okay. Fine, he threw it then. It's alright. My man Hong Chi Gong would wake up and jump back up. He's fine. Jellied eels. We didn't see that, did we? Jellied eels. Oh, God! Why? Oh, this looks not bad. But look at that. Look how British they are. They're hella British. Look at that guy. He's super British. He's like double British. Look at this guy. He's modern British. No. Hmm. All right, are we good? On a Tuesday. Tuesday? Hmm. You're going to eat nothing but plain rice for a few days? Plain rice? Actually pretty good. Maybe some soy sauce on it. All food is gross if you think about it enough? Maybe. Ugh. 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 All right, ready? Chapter 11, Part 1. Weary in dust and turmoil. Turmoil. Young Guo had taken only 2 steps when a fierce gust swept over his head. So he threw him down and he jumped back up. A figure vaulted above him and landed between him and the 5 freaks, laughing. Ha 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 ha. That was a wonderfully refreshing nap. It was none other than the 9-fingered divine beggar, Hong Qigong. Yang Guo was overjoyed, while the 5 freaks were struck with terror. Hong Qigong had indeed been sleeping in the snow at first, but when they stepped on him, he naturally woke, of course. Wanting to test whether the young man would keep the 3-day promise, he held his breath each time Yang Guo checked on him, feigning death. Only now did he stand at the narrow pathway, radiating awe. How do you radiate awe? I'm going to learn how to do that. He drew a half circle with his left hand and thrust out his right palm in the proudest move of his life. Konglong Yo Hui of the 18 dragon subduing palms. Are we not translating the names anymore? The eldest freak had no time to dodge, knowing he could not meet the strike head on. He had no choice but to raise both palms to resist with all his strength. Even water is gross if you think about it. Microorganisms? What do you mean? I see nothing. Water is pretty good. Water, to me, tastes better than soda nowadays. Hong Qigong controlled his palm with perfect ease, using only 1/10 of his power. Yet the eldest freak felt his arms go numb and his chest seized with pain. The second freak saw danger, fearing his brother would be shocked into the ravine, and quickly pushed his back. Hong Qigong's force increased. The second freak reeled backward, nearly falling. The fourth freak supported him from behind. The palm force passed along, from the fourth to the third, and then to the fifth at the end. The fifth had no escape and no room to evade. Oh, finally, I see a typo or an incorrect word from the AI here. The fifth had no escape and no room to evade. In an instant, they were about to be killed by Hong Qigong's single palm strength. Hong Qigong laughed. Ha 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 ha. You five scoundrels have done plenty of evil. If you're shaken to death by this one palm of the old beggar, you've nothing to complain about. The five braced their stances, glaring fiercely as they combined their strength against his palm. The pressure grew heavier and heavier. Their chest turned nauseous, and every breath became harder to draw. Suddenly, Hong Qigong gave a puzzled, "Eh?" He withdrew most of his strength and said, "Your internal energy has some real finesse. Who is your master?" The eldest freak, still pressing palms with him and gasping for air, said, We are disciples of Master Daruba." Hong Qigong shook his head. "Daruba? Never heard of him. But your inner force can pass from one to another. Quite a remarkable skill." Yang Guo thought. For Elder Hong to call something remarkable, it must truly be something. But to me, these five seem ordinary enough. None of them could beat me. Hong Qigong asked, "What sect are you from?" The eldest said, "Our master is the second disciple of the Tibetan holy monk, the Golden Wheel Dharma King." We saw him before, right? Hong Qigong shook his head again. "Tibetan holy monk, Golden Wheel Dharma King? Never heard of them. Tibet has a monk called Lingzhi Shangren. I've seen him. His martial arts are stronger than yours, but not the highest grade. What you've learned is fine work, full of principle. Go call your Grand Master. Let me spar with him." The eldest said, "Our Grand Master is the holy monk, the living Buddha, Mongolia's foremost national preceptor with limitless powers, invincible in the world. How could..." Hearing Hong Qigong's tone hint at sparing their lives, the second freak felt the eldest was throwing away their one chance. He hurriedly said, Yes, we will invite our Grandmaster to come spar with Elder Hong. Only our Grandmaster could possibly exchange blows with Master Hong. We juniors are not even fit to carry your wine gourd." Just then, several sharp scraping sounds came from around the mountain bend. A man turned the corner, body inverted, both hands holding stones as he propelled himself along. It was Western Vietnam Ouyang Feng. Whoa! Out of nowhere. What's he doing here? Yang Guo cried out, "Papa!" But Ouyang Feng acted as though he had not heard. He leapt behind the five freaks and pressed his right foot against the back of the last one. A surge of tremendous force shot through all five bodies in a chain. Hong Qigong was shocked to see Ouyang Feng suddenly appear. Hearing Yang Guo call him Papa, he thought, "So this boy is his son. No wonder he's so capable." He felt a heavy shock through his palm as Ouyang Feng's force surged forward, and he immediately increased his own strength to counter it. Since the second sword meet on Mount Hua, should we change it to Huashan? I guess Mount Hua is fine. More than 10 years had passed without Hong Qigong and Ouyang Feng crossing paths. Though Ouyang Feng's mind remained clouded, his reversed practice of the Nine Yin Manual had made his martial arts stranger with each step, and the stranger they became, the stronger. Ah, it's true. Hong Rong made him even stronger. Hong Qigong had heard Guo Jing and Hong Rong recite a small portion of the manual. Comparing it with his own skills had brought him great improvement as well. Righteous practice surpasses reversed practice, although his knowledge was limited, he was in no way inferior to Western Venom. Decades earlier, their abilities had been evenly matched. Since then, each had walked his own path. Now, meeting for the third time on Mount Hua, and testing their strength, they were still evenly matched. As for the five freaks trapped between two of the world's greatest masters, they became mere cushions for testing strikes, punching bags for practice, chilled one moment, burning the next, breath squeezed and released, bones creaking throughout, suffering 100 times worse than any torture. How do bones creak? Do bones actually creak? Ouyang Feng suddenly asked, Robert, these five have learned impressive inner strength. What school are they from? Young Guo thought, even my adoptive father says their internal energy is excellent. These five freaks truly aren't ordinary. Hong Qigong said, they claim to be the grand disciples of some Tibetan holy monk, the Golden Wheel Dharma King. Ouyang Feng asked, compared to you, is this Golden Wheel Dharma King stronger? Hong Qigong said, I don't know. Perhaps about the same. Ouyang Feng said, stronger than me? Hong Qigong said, stronger than you. Ouyang Feng froze and shouted, I don't believe it! As they spoke, their limbs continued to contest strength. Hong Qigong sent several different palm forces. Each was dissolved by Ouyang Feng's foot at the far end. Then Ouyang Feng pressed harder with his foot, but could not make Hong Qigong retreat even half an inch. Each admired the other. They both laughed aloud and leapt apart. The crushing force on the bodies of the five freaks vanished at once. They swayed like drunkards. Driven back and forth by the inner energy of two great masters, their organs were gravely injured, their muscles limp, their bones softened. They were ruined, unable to defeat even a child of 7 or 8. Hong Qigong barked, 5 scoundrels! You're lucky your time isn't up yet. At least you can't harm anyone anymore. Get out of my sight. And remember, go tell your grandmaster, that Golden Wheel Dharma King, to hurry to the Central Plains and have a match with me. Ouyang Feng said, and with me as well. The five freaks agreed repeatedly, stumbling and supporting each other as they limped down the slope. Ouyang Feng flipped upright, narrowed his eyes at Hong Qigong in faint recognition, and shouted, Hey, your martial arts are excellent. What is your name? Hong Qigong heard this and saw the confusion on his face. He knew the man had never recovered from his madness 10 years ago. He said, My name is Ouyang Feng. What's your name? Ouyang Feng trembled inside. The name Ouyang Feng felt familiar. But what was his own name? He truly could not recall. He shook his head. I don't know. What is my name? Hong Qigong laughed. Ha ha ha. You don't even know your own name. Go home and think it over. Ouyang Feng snarled. You must know it. Tell me. Hong Qigong said. Fine. Your name is Stinking Toad. The word toad was familiar, close, but somehow not quite right. He and Hong Qigong had been mortal enemies for decades. Hatred was carved deep into his mind. Though he did not know why, rage rose instinctively at the sight of him. Hong Qigong saw him standing there blankly, then saw a sudden fierce glint in his eyes. He prepared himself. With a roar, Ouyang Feng lunged savagely. Hong Qigong dared not neglect the threat. He countered at once with the dragon-subduing palm. Cloaks whipped in the wind, boots struck the icy ground. On a path barely a foot wide, they unleashed the utmost skills of their lives. One side opened onto a bottomless abyss. A single misstep meant shattering death, making the fight twice as perilous as any on level ground. Though both were old and their vigor had waned, their mastery had reached its peak, profound, solid, refined. After only a dozen moves, each felt deep respect for the other. Ouyang Feng shouted, "Old fellow, you're formidable." Hong Qigong laughed. "Ha ha ha ha! Thinking toad, you're not bad yourself." Young Guo saw how treacherous the terrain was, and feared Ouyang Feng would fall into the valley below. But whenever Hong Qigong seemed in trouble, he found himself hoping the old beggar would turn danger into safety. Ouyang Feng was his adoptive father, and he held deep affection for him. Yet Hong Qigong's generosity and heroic spirit, his effortless bearing as a great master of the age, won Young Guo's admiration at first sight. In hunger and freezing winds, he had risked his life to watch over Hong Qigong for 3 days and nights. Though they had exchanged not a single word, Young Guo felt as if they had survived 100 trials of life and death together. After several dozen exchanges, Young Guo saw that, despite each man's ferocious attacks, both always managed to escape danger. He no longer worried about their safety, and instead watched intently. The 9 Yin Manual was the foundation of all martial arts under heaven. He knew only scattered fragments, yet again and again he found their techniques aligning with the manual's principles. Surprise and delight filled him. A single ordinary line in the manual can lead to so many variations. 1,000 moves passed. Their strength was far from exhausted, but age weighed on them. Breaths grew heavy, hearts pounded, limbs slowed. Young Guo called out, "You two have been fighting half the day. You must be hungry. Why not eat first and then continue?" At the word eat, Hong Qigong instantly leapt back. "Wonderful, wonderful," he cried. Young Guo had already noticed the 5 freaks had brought a basket of cold food, now left off to the side. He ran to fetch it and opened the lid. Frozen chicken and meat, chilled wine, cold rice. Everything was there. Hong Qigong rejoiced. Seizing a frozen chicken, he tore into it with loud crunches. "What? He's eating the frozen chicken? I don't know about that, sir." Oh, you bet he's going to pick up everyone's skills because he knows the manual? Maybe. Young Guo handed Ouyang Feng a piece of frozen meat and said softly, "Papa, where have you been these days?" Ouyang Feng stared wide-eyed. "I was looking for you." Young Guo's chest tightened. There really is someone in this world who loves me with all his heart. He took his arm and said, "Papa, you are Ouyang Feng. This elder Hong is a good man. Don't fight him anymore." Ouyang Feng pointed at Hong Qigong. "He is Ouyang Feng. Ouyang Feng is a bad man." Seeing his confused mind, Young Guo felt a pang of sorrow. Hong Qigong laughed. "Ha ha ha. True enough. Ouyang Feng is a bad man. Ouyang Feng deserves to die." Ouyang Feng looked at Hong Qigong, then at Young Guo, eyes glazing over as he strained to remember, but his thoughts were tangled beyond control. After Young Guo fed him a little, he stood and said to Hong Qigong, "Elder Hong, he is my adoptive father. Please pity him. His mind is sick and confused. Don't make things hard for him." Hearing this, Hong Qigong nodded repeatedly. "Good lad. So he's your adoptive father. Suddenly, Ouyang Feng sprang up. Ouyang Feng! We couldn't decide the winner with fists. Let's use weapons. Hong Qigong shook his head. I've had enough. Call it your victory. Ouyang Feng said. Victory, defeat, it doesn't matter. I must kill you. He snapped off a branch, stripped the leaves, and swung it like a staff. His snake staff had once dominated the world. Though this branch bore no serpent, the force of its swing alone nearly drove the breath from Yang Guo's chest. Yang Guo hurried aside. Hong Qigong lifted another fallen branch as a short stick, and the two were already clashing again. He rarely used the dog-beating staff technique, but had many other ingenious staff methods, which he now used one after another. This duel was completely different from their earlier one. The staff moves twisted like divine dragons. The short stick whipped like coiling serpents, at times like a rainbow crossing the sky, at others like a meteor chasing the moon. Yang Guo watched, breathless and entranced. Their staves and sticks battled until dusk, still without a victor. Yang Guo feared the perilous cliffs and slippery ice. At their age, one misstep could be fatal. He shouted for them to stop. But, exhilarated by combat, neither man would yield. Yang Guo remembered Hong Qigong's gluttonous delight earlier, and thought delicious food might work. He dug up wild yams and cassava, roasted them over a fire until they smelled irresistible. Good job. Catching the scent, Hong Qigong shouted, Stinking toad! I'm done fighting! Food comes first! Hong Qigong rushed to Yang Guo's side, grabbed 2 roasted yams, and began eating. Though they burned his mouth, he still mumbled praises between bites. Ouyang Feng arrived right behind him, swinging his wooden staff down at Hong Qigong's head. But Hong Qigong did not dodge. He picked up a yam and tossed it at him. Eat! He shouted. Ouyang Feng blinked and caught it by reflex and began eating, forgetting their deadly battle a moment before. That night, the 3 slept inside the cave. Wanting to help his adoptive father recover his memory, Yang Guo spoke of many past events. Ouyang Feng only stared blankly. At times he struck his own head with his fist, clearly trying to think, yet unable to grasp anything. He grew increasingly distressed. Yang Guo feared he might worsen into a deeper madness and urged him to rest, though he himself could not sleep. Turning over martial and palm techniques in his mind, he grew more and more excited. Unable to restrain himself, he rose quietly to practice. The mysteries were endless. He trained half the night and only slept once exhaustion overtook him. At dawn, before Yang Guo was fully awake, he heard wind roaring and shouts outside the cave. He rushed out to see Hong Qigong and Ouyang Feng already locked in fierce combat again. He sighed. Hey, these 2 old men have become children again. What's the point of fighting so much? He sat aside to watch. Hong Qigong's every move was orderly and clear, while Ouyang Feng's techniques were unpredictable. Whenever Hong Qigong gained the advantage, Ouyang Feng would suddenly use a bizarre move to pull even again. They fought by day and slept by night, battling for 4 days straight. Both grew weary and drained, nearly collapsing, yet neither yielded a single move. Yang Guo thought, Tomorrow, no matter what, I must stop them. That night, after Ouyang Feng fell asleep, he whispered to Hong Qigong, Elder, may I speak with you outside? Hong Qigong followed him. After walking more than 10 paces from the cave, Yang Guo suddenly knelt and kowtowed repeatedly, unable to speak a word. Hong Qigong was startled, then understood at once. The boy was begging to pity Ouyang Feng's illness and concede the fight. Laughing up at the sky, he said, Ha, 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 ha. So that's how it is. He slung his wooden staff over his shoulder and started down the mountain. He had taken only a few steps when a gust of wind swept past. Ouyang Feng leapt from the cave, swinging his staff in a sweeping blow. "Old fellow! Trying to run?" he roared. Hong Qigong dodged 3 strikes, intending to slip away, but Ouyang Feng's staff wind sealed every direction. He could not escape. In a duel between masters, even a hint of yielding was dangerous. Because Hong Qigong was holding back, he immediately fell into disadvantage, forced into a sorry state, and nearly killed several times. Seeing the staff thrust straight toward his abdomen, its hidden follow-up deadly, he knew he could not evade. He raised his short staff to block, and suddenly felt a fierce surge of inner force rush down Ouyang Feng's weapon. He started. "You want to compete in inner strength?" The thought had barely formed when the opponent's power was already surging in. There was no choice but to counter with inner force of his own. At their level, even if one were struck by a palm or a staff, one's own inner energy would instinctively surge up in defense, preventing catastrophic harm. But matching inner strength was no longer a friendly duel. It was a struggle where neither could retreat without courting death. In past encounters, both had avoided this risk, aware of the other's might and unwilling to bet their lives on uncertain victory. Yet now, in his muddled madness, Ouyang Feng had been unable to win after days of fighting, and suddenly chose this deadly contest. More than 10 years earlier, Hong Qigong had hated Western venom to the bone, but age had mellowed him. Seeing the man deranged, and after Yangguo's repeated pleas, he bore him no wish to kill. He gathered his energy in his dantian and defended without attacking, waiting for Ouyang Feng's strength to ebb. But the opposing power surged like the Yangtze River itself, one wave followed by another, each stronger than the last. Not only did it not diminish, it grew increasingly fierce. Hong Qigong prided himself on his deep internal strength, honed over decades. Even if he could not defeat Western venom, he was certain he would not lose if he focused purely on defense. Yet, after several exchanges, Ouyang Feng's strength grew still stronger. Hong Qigong recalled the earlier contest across the 5 freaks. Ouyang Feng had sent 3 waves of force through his feet, each stronger than the last. Now, thinking back, it seemed as though the first wave had not faded before the second arrived. While the second lingered, the third struck. If he only defended, letting the enemy build force wave upon wave, he would surely be overwhelmed. Only by counterattacking could he force the other to defend, preventing the accumulation of power. The moment the thought arose, he sent out a surge of force. The two collided head-on, their bodies jolting violently. Yangguo watched the two pit their inner strength against each other and could not help feeling deeply anxious. If he struck Hong Qigong from behind, he could help his foster father win. Yet, Hong Qigong's white hair streamed, his presence at once awe-inspiring and kindly, upright and heroic, yet free and unrestrained. Yangguo felt an involuntary admiration. Since the old beggar had already agreed to his plea and willingly yielded, how could he bear to harm him? The two held their deadlock a while longer. Wisps of white vapor rose from the top of Ouyang Feng's head, growing denser until he looked like a steaming basket. Wow. Hong Qigong was also resisting with all his might, unable to spare a thought for whether he might kill his opponent. To preserve his own life was blessing enough. From dawn to the hour of Chun, and from Chun until noon, Hong Qigong felt his strength draining away, yet the other's force still surged like raging waves. That old venomous creature grows madder by the moment. This old beggar's life ends today. He knew he would lose this contest for sure, yet could not retreat, and so forced himself to hold on. He did not realize that Ouyang Feng, too, was spent to the limit. They fought another 2 hours, reaching the Shun hour. Seeing both faces drastically change, Young Guo thought that another hour would surely end in mutual destruction. But if he stepped in to separate them, his inner strength was far too weak. He would likely fail and only lose his own life. He hesitated a long time. Ouyang Feng looked stricken. Hong Qigong was gasping heavily. Even at great risk, I must save them. He snapped off a tree branch, sat cross-legged between them, gathered his strength, and thrust the branch between their staff and snake rod. To his surprise, the move took no effort at all. Their inner force rushed along the branch, and he diverted it with his own strength, instantly neutralizing it. When a bow is drawn past its limit, it cannot launch the arrow. Northern Beggar and Western Venom were both unrivaled heroes, but after exhausting themselves for days, their strength was at their end. Their strength was at its end. Their strengths were at their ends. Young Guo's counter force sent both reeling. They collapsed to the ground like dead ashes, unable to move. Papa, Senior Hong, are you all right? Young Guo cried. Both breathed with difficulty and could not reply. Young Guo tried to help them into the cave, but Hong Qigong gave a faint shake of his head. Young Guo realized they were gravely injured and could not be moved. That night he slept between them, fearing they might rise to fight again. In truth, they could no longer muster strength to heal themselves, much less fight. At dawn the next day, Young Guo saw their breaths were even fainter than before and panicked. He dug up wild yams, roasted them, and fed them carefully. Not until the third morning did they show a trace of renewed life. Young Guo then helped them into the cave, laying them on opposite sides with himself between them. Alright. I think the fight is over. Alright. Good time for a break. I'll be right back. 5 minutes. We're back. Yet another goon cave. I really hope not. Alright, and they're in the cave. After several days of rest, Hong Qigong's appetite returned, and his recovery quickened. Ouyang Feng, however, lay silent all day, his expression clouded. Young Guo tried to cheer him, but he gave no answer. One day, as the two lay facing each other, Hong Qigong suddenly barked. Stinking toad! Do you submit to me yet? Ouyang Feng said. Submit to what? I still have many techniques I haven't used. If I unleash them all, I'd beat you into the ground. Hong Qigong laughed. As it happens, I too have plenty I haven't used. Ever heard of the Beggar Clan's dog-beating staff technique? Ouyang Feng stiffened. I've heard that name. Seems formidable. Could this old fellow actually know it? But if he did, why didn't he use it then? Either he already used it, or he doesn't know at all. He said, What's so great about that? Hong Qigong already regretted it. If he had used the dog-beating staff technique earlier, he would surely have overwhelmed him. But he felt that since Ouyang Feng was deranged, he already held the advantage. Using the Beggar Clan's treasured technique would be unworthy of a true hero. Who knew madness had not weakened the man's martial arts at all? In the end, they had both suffered grievously. Now he no longer had the strength to use the technique, even if he wanted to. Hearing Ouyang Feng's words stoked his indignation. A thought sparked. He beckoned Young Guo over and whispered, I'm the former leader of the Beggar Clan, did you know? Young Guo nodded. Back at the Chen Zhen Sex's Chongyang Palace, he had heard his senior brothers speak of the world's great figures, how the former beggar clan chief, the nine-fingered divine beggar Hong Qigong, possessed unmatched martial arts and a hero's heart. Hong Qigong said, I'm going to teach you a set of techniques. These are passed only to the leader of our clan, never to outsiders. But since your foster father belittled me, I want you to perform them for him to see. These techniques are passed only to the leader of our clan, never to outsiders, but I'm going to pass it to you. Okay? A total outsider I just met. Young Guo said, since these skills aren't taught to outsiders, this junior ought not learn them. My foster father's mind isn't clear. Senior, you need not bother with him. Hong Qigong shook his head. You'll learn only the forms, not the secrets of channeling strength. In real combat, they'll be useless. I'm not asking you to fight your foster father. Just strike a few poses. He'll understand at a glance, so it doesn't count as passing the art to you. Sounds pretty sus, Mr. Hong Qigong. Young Guo thought, if this is the beggar clan's supreme treasure, my foster father might not be able to counter it. Why would I help him lose? He kept refusing, saying he dared not learn their secret art. Seeing through him, Hong Qigong shouted, Stinking toad! Your foster son knows you can't beat my dog-beating staff, so he won't show you the forms. Ouyang Feng roared, Child! I have many wondrous techniques unused. Why should you fear him? Show them quickly! Pressed by both, Young Guo had no choice but to go to Hong Qigong's side. Hong Qigong told him to fetch a tree branch, and explained in detail the dog-beating staff move, striking two dogs at once. Young Guo learned it instantly and demonstrated it. Seeing how marvelous and formidable the move was, Ouyang Feng could not immediately counter it. After a long while, he devised a counter maneuver and instructed Young Guo, who performed it as told. Hong Qigong gave a faint smile and praised him, then taught another staff move. Thus, the two elders argued technique through Young Guo. This is how Young Guo learns everything. All of our heroes just keep getting taught by world masters. By sunset, they had managed to work through barely a dozen moves, while Young Guo was already soaked in sweat. The next morning, they continued, and after 3 full days, the 36 taught him everything. The 36 dog-beating staff techniques were finally finished. Though there were only 36 moves, their subtleties were endless. The further they went, the longer Ouyang Feng needed to think. Yet each counter he devised was sound in both attack and defense, powerful and refined. Even Hong Qigong could not help admiring them. That evening, Hong Qigong explained the 6th variation of the final move, No Dogs Under Heaven. It was the ultimate stroke of the final technique. Once unleashed, staff force struck from every direction. Even dozens of fierce hounds would be felled at once, hence the name No Dogs Under Heaven. Oh, not the dogs. Its mastery marked the pinnacle of martial arts. Ouyang Feng had no possible counter and struggled all night, unable to sleep. Before dawn, Young Guo had not yet risen when Ouyang Feng suddenly shouted, I've got it! Child, use this staff method to break his move! His voice was both excited and urgent. Hearing something strange in his tone, Young Guo looked over and was startled. Though old, Ouyang Feng's deep inner power had kept his hair only slightly gray. Now, from overstraining his mind, his brows and beard had turned pure white, in a single night, as though he had aged 10 years. Oh, damn. Young Guo felt sorrow and was about to beg Hong Qigong to stop the contest, but Ouyang Feng kept urging him. Young Guo could only follow his instructions. The maneuver was extremely complex. After repeated explanation, Young Guo finally grasped it and performed it. At the first sight of the move, Hong Qigong's face changed drastically. Though he had been paralyzed and unable to move, some sudden strength surged through him. He leaped up and shouted, "Old Venom, Ouyang Feng! This old beggar yields to you today!" He lunged forward and seized him in a tight embrace. Young Guo was horrified, thinking he meant to harm his foster father. He grabbed at Hong Qigong's back, but the old beggar held on fiercely and could not be pried away. Hong Qigong laughed heartily. "Ha ha 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 ha! Old Venom, Ouyang Feng! For you to devise such a counter! Remarkable! Good, Ouyang Feng, good!" After days of bitter struggle and a night of exhausting thought, Ouyang Feng was already depleted. Hearing Hong Qigong call Ouyang Feng 3 times, he suddenly found clarity. Like a bright mirror flashing through his mind, memories of decades past rose vividly before him. He too burst into loud laughter. "Ha ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! I am Ouyang Feng! I am Ouyang Feng! I am Ouyang Feng! And you are the old beggar Hong Qigong!" The 2 white-haired elders clutched each other, laughing together. After a while, their voices weakened, and suddenly laughter stopped. Neither moved again. Young Guo cried out in shock, "Papa! Senior!" But neither answered. He reached for Hong Qigong's arm and pulled gently, only for the old beggar to topple over. He was already gone. Terrified, Young Guo bent to look at Ouyang Feng, but he too no longer breathed. Though their laughter had faded, faint smiles still rested on their faces, and in the valley, echoes of their hearty laughter seemed to linger in the air. Northern Beggar and Western Venom, after decades of fierce rivalry, had perished together atop Mount Hua. A lifetime of tangled hatred and bitterness ended, with the 2 of them embracing in laughter. Decades of enmity dissolved in a single smile. Oh no. Alright, I guess we got... Poor kid keeps reliving the same trauma. True. So ends the great rivalry. Ah, yeah, yeah. Now they dead. Who's the strongest now? Back then, beggars were often hurt by stray dogs. Yeah, that's why they need the staff to beat up all the stray dogs. To kill all the dogs under heaven. Young Guo stood stunned, grief-stricken, and lost. He thought of how Hong Qigong had once feigned death for 3 days and nights. Could the 2 elders be pretending again? But their appearance showed nothing of the sort. Maybe they'll revive after a while. With such profound martial arts, they shouldn't just die like this. Perhaps they're competing again, seeing who can feign death longer. He kept a vigil beside the 2 bodies for 7 days and nights. Oh no. With each passing day, his hope diminished. Only when their faces changed color did he finally accept that they were truly gone. He wept bitterly, then dug 2 graves side by side, and buried the 2 legendary figures of the martial world. Hong Qigong's wine gourd and the sticks used in their duel were buried with them. You only revive if you're the main character? Yep. Well, at least now, Young Guo knows all the moves of the dog beating staff technique. And also how to counter. Oh shit, he's gonna use it to counter Huang Rong in the future? Huh? I think that's gonna happen. The footprints they had stamped into the snow during their struggle had frozen into solid ice, still there while their bodies had returned to the earth. Standing in those prints, Young Guo recalled the scene from days before, and sorrow overwhelmed him again. Two elders of such incredible skill, and in the end it's someone as lowly as me who lays them to rest. What are fame and glory? Nothing but a fleeting dream. He bowed 8 times before their graves. Though foster father is formidable, he still falls short of senior Hong. When the dog beating staff was unleashed, foster father needed half a day to find a counter. In real combat, where would he find such leisure? After sighing a while, he set off down the mountain. As before, he let his feet decide the direction, not caring for east or west. The world is vast, and I am alone. Let me drift as the winds take me. When my lifespan ends, I'll lie down wherever I fall. He's a frowning wanderer. Though less than a month had passed atop Mount Hua, it felt like years. He had climbed the mountain full of anger and pain from humiliation. Now he descended, seeing all things as clouds. Others' esteem or contempt made no difference to him. So young, and already he had grown cynical and weary of the world. Weary? Within a day, he reached a barren wildland south of Shanxi. Everywhere were withered trees and dying grass. A bleak wind swept across, making the tall grass ripple. Suddenly, from the west came the faint sound of hooves and rising dust. Soon, dozens of wild horses galloped east, passing a mile away. Watching them race freely across the plains, Young Guo felt his spirit lift. Letting his gaze follow them into the distance, he felt the world vast and unbound. Just then, a sorrowful whinny sounded behind him. No! He turned to see a scrawny yellow horse dragging a cart of firewood slowly along the road. Perhaps seeing its fellow horses running free while it labored in drudgery had made it cry out. The horse was so thin its ribs jutted sharply. Its legs were nothing but sticks, its coat patchy and scabbed, caked with mud, and crossed with countless bloody whip marks. A burly man sat on the cart, displeased with its slow pace, and lashed it repeatedly. Not cool, man. Young Guo, long accustomed to being mistreated himself, felt each lash as though it struck his own flesh. His chest tightened, tears nearly rising. Hands on his hips, he stood in the road and shouted, "Hey, you brute! Why are you whipping that horse?" The man saw a ragged, beggar-like youth blocking his way. He raised his whip and barked, "Out of the way! You want to die?" He lashed down again, striking the horse heavily. Young Guo flared with anger. "If you hit that horse again, I'll kill you!" The man burst out laughing and swung his whip at Young Guo's head. Young Guo caught it between his fingers, yanked it free, flipped it around, and with a sharp crack wrapped it around the man's neck. One pull dragged him off the cart. And Young Guo thrashed him soundly about the head and face. Finally, someone defending horses around here. The scrawny horse, ugly though it was, seemed to possess a good deal of spirit. Seeing the burly man being beaten, it neighed in delight and stretched its head toward Young Guo, rubbing affectionately against his leg. Young Guo broke the harness rope, patted its back, pointed toward the lingering dust of the distant horse herd, and said, "Go on. No one will bully you again." The horse rose on its hind legs with a long whinny and dashed forward, but its body was too weak. Darting ahead so suddenly, it had no strength to sustain the run. After barely 10 yards, its front legs buckled and it collapsed. Feeling pity, Young Guo rushed forward, braced his arms under its belly, and shouted, "Up!" lifting the horse to its feet. The burly man, seeing such strength, was terrified. Abandoning both cart and firewood, he scrambled up and ran half a li before shouting, "Robber! Horse thief! He's stealing my firewood!" Young Guo couldn't help laughing. He pulled fresh grass and fed it to the thin horse. Seeing how much hardship it had endured, he felt a kinship with it. Stroking its back, he said, "Horse, from now on, just stay with me." He led it slowly to a nearby town, bought beans and grain, and fed it well. By the next day, the horse already looked livelier, and Young Guo mounted it, riding at an easy pace. At first, the mangy creature staggered with every step, tripping, stumbling, nearly falling, but the farther it went, the better it became. After 7 or 8 days of good feed, it moved as swiftly as a bird in flight. Young Guo grew increasingly fond of it and tended it with extra care. One day, while he was resting at a small inn, the mangy horse wandered to his table, staring at a bowl of wine at the next table and neighing insistently. It seemed it wanted a drink. Curious, Young Guo asked the waiter to bring a large bowl of wine. He patted the horse's head. The horse gulped the wine down in one draught, flicked its tail, stamped its feet, clearly delighted. Well, it's an alcohol drinking horse. Amused, Young Guo ordered more. The horse drank over 10 bowls and still wasn't satisfied. When Young Guo called for more wine, the innkeeper, seeing his ragged clothes and fearing he couldn't pay, claimed the wine was finished. After the meal, Young Guo mounted up. Fueled by wine, the mangy horse stretched its stride and flew forward as if truly mad. Trees on both sides streamed backward. It was incredibly fast. My God, it's fuel! Instead of gas, this horse uses wine. Yet, unlike a fine steed whose speed came with steadiness, this horse lurched wildly, rising and falling, tossing and jolting. Only with Young Guo's extraordinary lightness kung fu could he manage to stay atop it. The horse had another quirk. Whenever it saw livestock on the road ahead, it had to overtake them, whether cattle, horses, mules, or donkeys. It refused to be behind. This stubborn competitiveness surely came from a lifetime of abuse. A steed of 1,000 miles, reduced to the hands of a peasant, worn down by dust and hardship. Now that it can finally stretch its legs, of course it wants to fly. Its temper suited Young Guo perfectly. Man and horse became companions. His spirits had been low, but playing with the horse on the road, he was still a youth after all, soon lifted his mood. Riding southward, he reached the banks of the Han River. Along the way, he recalled teasing Lu Wushuang and tricking Li Mochou and her disciple, and couldn't help laughing. Then he thought of Xiaolongnu. Where was she now? When would they meet again? And sorrow returned. One day at noon, he kept encountering beggars on the road, many clearly skilled in martial arts. Could the matter between Wushuang and the beggar clan still be unresolved? Or is the clan gathering forces to face Li Mochou? That would be something to see. He had never been fond of the beggar clan, but out of respect for Hong Qigong, he now felt a natural closeness. As long as they aren't troubling Lu Wushuang, I'll tell them of the Senior Hong's passing. Traveling a bit farther, he found more and more beggars along the road. They eyed Young Guo with mild surprise. His clothing made him look like one of them. But the beggar clan never rode horses unless in urgent matters. Young Guo ignored them, riding on calmly. By the hour of Shun, he suddenly heard the sharp cries of eagles. Shun is dog, right? Two white eagles swept across the sky and dove ahead. A beggar said, Chief Huang has arrived. We'll almost certainly gather tonight. Ah, Hong Rong's back. Is twilight? I knew that. Around sunset. Wait, is he going to use the moves? The counter moves? Because Hong Rong? Another said, I wonder whether great hero Guo will come. The first replied, He and his wife are like scale and weight. Where one goes, the other. He noticed young Guo reining in to listen, shot him a glare, and fell silent. Hearing the names Guo Jing and Hong Rong, young Guo felt a faint jolt, then sneered inwardly. Back then I ate your scraps and suffered your scorn and mockery. I was young and helpless and endured no end of humiliation. Now the whole world is my home. Why would I rely on you? Another thought rose. Why not pretend to be down and out and go seek refuge with them? Let's see how they treat me now. He found a secluded spot, mussed his hair until it hung in messy tufts, punched himself hard in the left eye, raked his cheek a few times so blood welled. Jesus Christ. Did you have to do that? Already ragged, he tore his clothes further into tatters, then rolled in mud and dust. With that scabby, mangy horse beside him, he truly looked like someone at the end of life's road. Finished with his disguise, he limped back onto the main path, not riding the horse, but walking along with the beggars. He didn't hold the reins, the ugly horse simply followed. Some beggar clan men used secret signals to ask if he was heading to the gathering feast. Young Guo glared wordlessly and drifted among them, sometimes ahead, sometimes behind. The party moved along until dusk, arriving before a ruined temple. Two white eagles perched on a pine tree outside. The Wu brothers were there, one holding a tray, the other tossing up chunks of meat to feed the eagles. Young Guo remembered how the brothers and Guo Fu had fought Li Mo Chou days earlier. He had only watched Guo Fu at the time and hadn't paid the brothers much attention. Now he glanced sidelong. Wu Junru looked fierce and spirited, every movement brimming with energy. Wu Xiwen was light and quick, darting about without a moment's rest. Wu Junru wore a dark purple silk robe. Wu Xiwen a bright blue one. Both had embroidered hero sashes at their waists. Truly handsome young heroes. Damn it. They grew up to be handsome. Might as well break a leg too in order to really sell it. Yeah. Why don't you just cut off his head too? Young Guo stepped forward, bowed, and stammered. Both, Brother Wu, I trust you've been well. The temple front and back were filled with beggars in patched rags. Young Guo, dusty and disheveled, blended in easily. Wu Junru returned the bow and looked him over, but did not recognize him. Forgive my poor memory, but who might you be? Young Guo said. My humble name is not worth mentioning. I wish to request an audience with Chief Huang. Woodenroo found the voice familiar and was about to inquire further when a bell-clear girl's voice called from the temple entrance. Big Brother Wu, I asked you to buy me a soft riding whip. Did you get it? Woodenroo immediately left Young Guo and hurried over. I bought it already. Try it. Does it suit your hand? He pulled a whip from his robe. Young Guo turned his head. A young girl in pale green strode out. Her brows were curved like crescent moons, her little nose slightly upturned, her face like white jade, radiant as morning blossoms. It was Guo Fu. Her clothing wasn't especially ornate, but a string of pearls at her neck glimmered faintly, setting off her delicate beauty. Young Guo took one look and immediately felt shabby in comparison, turning his head away. Wu Shiwen rushed over too. Both brothers scrambled to please her. No. After chatting with Guo Fu for a bit, Woodenroo remembered Young Guo. He turned back and said, You've come for the hero's feast, haven't you? Young Guo had no idea what the hero's feast was, but answered casually. Woodenroo waved to a beggar. Take care of this friend. Bring him to Dasheng Pass tomorrow. When he returned to speaking with Guo Fu, ignoring Young Guo entirely. The beggar agreed and came over to greet Young Guo, asking his name. Young Guo answered truthfully. Being a nobody, his name meant nothing to the man. The beggar introduced himself as Wang the 13th, a two-pouch disciple of the beggar clan. Oh, a very lowly disciple. Wang the 13th. That's a cool name. And asked, Brother Young, where have you come from? From Shanxi, Young Guo said. Oh, then Brother Young must be from the Chenchen sect, Wang the 13th asked. At the words Chenchen sect, Young Guo's head throbbed. He shook his head quickly. No. Then you must be carrying your hero's invitation token, Wang the 13th said. Young Guo froze for a moment and said, I've wandered the Jianghu in rags. How could I be called any sort of hero? I only once met your clan's chief Huang, so I came especially to request an audience and hope to borrow a little travel money to return home. Wang Shisan, why did it change? Wang 13. Wang Shisan's brows tightened. He pondered for a while, then said, Chief Huang is receiving heroes from across the land right now. She likely has no time to see you. Young Guo had deliberately dressed himself in wretched poverty. The more others looked down on him, the more satisfied he felt. At once, he pleaded even more pitifully. What do you mean? You're all fucking beggars. You're looking down on this guy? The beggar clan brothers were all from poor backgrounds. They always helped those in need and never scorned the impoverished. Hearing Young Guo's plaintive tone, Wang Shisan said, Brother Young, eat your fill first. Tomorrow we'll go to Dasheng Pass together. I'll report to the elders, and they'll pass it on to the chief to see what she decides, all right? Okay. He's a good dude. He had first addressed him as Brother Young, but now, learning he was not among the guests for the hero's banquet, and being much younger than himself, he changed it to Brother Young in the junior sense. Younger Brother Young. Young Guo thanked him repeatedly. Wang Shisan invited him to the ruined temple and brought out proper dishes to treat him. According to beggar clan rules, even on their grandest celebrations, disciples had to mash chicken, fish, and meat into a porridge-like mess to show they never forgot their roots. But for guests, they served whole dishes and wine. As young Guo ate, the hall seemed to suddenly brighten. He saw Guo Fu glide in, smiling and radiant, with the Wu brothers attending her on either side. Wu Xiuwen said, "All right, we'll travel by night and reach Dasheng Pass before morning. I'll go get your red horse." The three chatted among themselves, not sparing even a glance at young Guo crouched on the floor eating. They went to the back courtyard, fetched their bundles and weapons, and soon hoofbeats thundered outside as they rode away. Young Guo left his chopsticks stuck upright in his bowl, listening to the hoofbeats fade into the distance. His heart surged with 100 tangled emotions. Was it sorrow or hatred, anger or grief? The next day, Wang Shisen called him to the road. Along the way, besides beggar clan disciples, many other martial artists were traveling, some on horseback, some on foot, likely all headed to the hero's banquet. Yang Guo did not know what this hero's banquet or hero's invitation was, and he figured Wang Shisen wouldn't explain, so he only played the fool, looking wretched and simple. By dusk, they reached Dasheng Pass. It was a key fortress between Hunan and Hubei, commanding the terrain, though not bustling with commerce. North of it lay territory already taken by the Mongols. Wang Shisen led young Guo past the town, then another 7 or 8 li, where they saw a large manor encircled by several hundred ancient locust trees. Heroes from all paths were heading toward it. The buildings sprawled layer upon layer. One could not see the full extent, but it was clearly spacious enough to host thousands. Wang Shisen was only a low-ranked disciple of the beggar clan. Knowing the chief was busy with important matters, he dared not report such trivial request as borrowing travel money. After arranging young Guo's lodging, he went off to speak with his friends. Young Guo saw the grand scale of the manor, servants bustling through and fro, receiving guests, and felt quietly puzzled. He wondered who the host was to command such presence. Suddenly, 3 loud signal shots boomed, and musicians struck up a tune. Someone said, "The master and mistress of the manor are greeting guests in person. Let's go see which hero has arrived." Stewards and servants lined up on both sides. The crowd parted. From behind the hall's screen walked a man and a woman, both around 40. The man wore a brocade robe, a short beard on his chin, his bearing proud and imposing. The woman had pale, delicate skin, and the demeanor of a refined noblewoman. The guests whispered, "Master Lu and Madame Lu have come out personally to welcome an honored guest." Behind them came another couple. At the sight of them, young Guo's heart jolted. Heat rose to his face. They were Guojing and Huang Rong. After several years apart, Guojing appeared even steadier, and Hong Rong's gentle smile had not diminished her former radiance. Young Guo thought, "So Guo auntie was truly this beautiful. When I was small, I never realized it." Oh no. Is he falling for his auntie? He already fell for one auntie. Alright, that's a good time to stop. How'd you guys like that? Oh no. Ouyang Feng and Hong Qigong died. Was it a good death? I guess that was a good death. You don't have to die fighting. You can die holding your arch nemesis. Aunties are good. That was a great death. They died friends. Yeah. Yeah, and Ouyang Feng got his mind back right before he died, which is good. The next chapter will be spicy. Do you think he'll fight against Huang Rong? He must, right? Yeah, she will not be happy. I only taught this guy fucking Confucius. All right. That was fun. I think I'm looking forward to the next chapter. Hmm. Yeah. But who's the most powerful now? Is Guo Jing the most powerful in the world? Good chapter. He found a horse. It's not a fast red horse, but like it's a nice horse. It seems to be fast. Yeah. And Guo Fu seems to be still a little bitch. As well as the two Wu brothers. So that should be fun. But then I guess we're not seeing them next chapter. One of these days they'll reunite. I'm excited for that for that scene. Should be fun. Hmm. Do you think Guo Fu will fall for him? I have a feeling. I have a feeling. Another one for the harem. Alright guys. Thanks for joining. I love you. I'll see you next time. Alright. Bye.